I might be out of turn, but as you were just saying, for the last 10, 15 years, we have been a perfect example to those countries in that region. I find that comparison annoying to me, and because these people kill each other. Torture, you're talking a bit about water torture. You're making a real leap when you're talking about these countries and what they do, and you saying that we're not a perfect country.
Well, I don't mind admitting that we're not perfect.
No, I'm not saying that, but you're making that comparison. These people, these countries weren't even there, going back to history when people were talking. They were Mesopotamia, they were Persia. These countries have been developed and reassigned by the British, the Indian, us, whatever, however. So they've always just been the same tribal people. They just have different names that we've ascribed to them, as they have different countries and boundaries.
Yeah,
but they've been the same country and the same rules for 12 centuries, or going back to the 12th century.
Right. Well, two things. One, it is not inevitable that the Shia and Sunni are in conflict, in war against each other. They have actually lived. They have lived for long stretches of history next to each other and intermingled within each other, and so we shouldn't just assume that the default in this region is constant warfare. And I may have just been inarticulate in how I was trying to critique U.S. policy. The question was, what should the United States be doing to try to inspire people to greater degrees of civil rights and human rights? And I just think that it's probably a good idea for the United States to try to lead by example. Not everyone will listen, not everyone will follow our example,
but the points that you brought up were poor.
Well, there's maybe another way to put it. If you live anywhere in this region, maybe let me try to put what I think Chris was trying to say in slightly different words. If you live anywhere in that region and you see the United States like this with Saddam Hussein, and we were like this with Saddam Hussein for a long time, or like this with Hosni Mubarak, these are very brutal dictators for a long time, it's then hard for us to turn around and say we are the stalwart examples of, we get on the wrong side of the page with people. It's hard to say, look, we're like this with the Saudi monarchy today, and Saudi Arabia has come up in a couple of different contexts. It is not free for us, and it's certainly not free for our values to be like this with the Saudi monarchy. I think that's where Chris was going on that.
I didn't take it that way.
Okay, all right.
Well, it's not
a little bit different than that, but it's along the same lines. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm just wondering, do we have any allies in the region, and if we do, what would we do? What would we do since those lines are possible to spill over? What, if anything?
Would we what?
What if those lines disappear?
Yeah, right.
Do we have allies in the region?
And for all intents and
for
all intents and purposes, a lot of these lines are disappearing. I mean, you can argue that most of the lines surrounding Syria have already disappeared as the refugees move fairly freely across those borders. And all of our so-called allies in that region are imperfect, and they are temporary. I mentioned that, though not on this map, a big part of the regional dynamics involve our one true ally in that region, which is Israel.
Turkey.
And Turkey is an imperfect ally as well. We have as many conflicts open with Turkey as we have points of agreement, and there has been a lot of money flowing from Turkey into the fight in Syria, not perhaps from the Turkish government directly, but from certain individuals there. And so the relationship with Turkey is imperfect as well. And so as we try to calibrate our policy in this region, it is important to remember who have been our largely unconditional allies and who have been our conditional allies. Israel, on the edge of this map, it's important to remember, is one of our few true friends. Jordan as well.